Unraveling the origins of the oldest Native American tribes is a task that stretches far beyond a simple inquiry. Many might assume that tribes like the Navajo or Cherokee, among the most prominent and populous today, are the earliest claimants to this title. However, such an assumption would fail to capture the profound complexity of Native American history. In the United States alone, roughly 5.5 million people identify as having Native American ancestry, belonging to 574 federally recognized tribes. The Navajo, the largest of these groups, number about 340,000 members, while the Cherokee follow closely behind with around 290,000 members. Other significant tribes include the Chippewa, Sioux, Choctaw, and Apache. Yet, the true origins of Native Americans stretch far beyond the formation of these tribes, reaching back tens of thousands of years to ancient peoples whose descendants would give rise to the diverse mosaic of native cultures that span the Americas. Ancient migrations and the origins beyond the tribes. The path to understanding the earliest human migrations to the Americas is both awe-inspiring and filled with unresolved questions. Current theories suggest that the first humans arrived in the Americas at least 17,000 years ago, although some evidence points to an even earlier timeline. It is widely believed that these early people came from Asia, crossing what we now know as the Bering Strait. During the last ice age, lower sea levels exposed a land bridge called Beringia, which connected Asia to North America. This theory, supported by a substantial body of archaeological evidence, remains one of the most accepted explanations for the initial migration. However, the Bering Strait theory, while compelling, doesn't provide a complete picture. At the time of migration, vast ice sheets covered much of North America, especially in present-day Canada, creating a formidable barrier that hindered southward movement for centuries. It wasn't until these ice sheets began to retreat that an ice-free corridor emerged, opening the way for human populations to spread southward. Some anthropologists argue that this single group of migrants may be the common ancestor of all indigenous peoples in North and South America, eventually branching out over millennia and adapting to the diverse environments they encountered. An alternative theory, gaining traction in recent years, suggests that some of these early humans may have reached the Americas by sea, navigating along the Pacific coastline in boats, possibly driven by the abundance of marine resources. This coastal migration theory is supported by findings along the western coast of North America and even into South America, indicating that these early settlers possessed the maritime skills necessary to traverse rugged coastal waters, perhaps even arriving before the Clovis culture, long regarded as the first true Native American civilization. The Clovis and pre-Clovis debate for many years. The Clovis culture, dating back approximately 13,000 years, was considered the first definitive evidence of human presence in the Americas. The Clovis people are identified by their distinct stone tools, particularly spear points with fluted edges, designed for hunting large game. These spearheads, known as Clovis points, were once thought to represent the earliest form of Native American culture. However, about 30 years ago, a series of groundbreaking archaeological discoveries began to challenge this notion, suggesting that other human groups may have lived on the continent even earlier than the Clovis. Key finds include Folsom, New Mexico. Circa 10,000 years ago, the remains of an extinct bison species, with distinct spear marks on its bones, were discovered, showing that highly skilled hunters adapted to the changing climate and prey. Bluefish Caves, Yukon. Circa 24,000 years ago, excavations in the Yukon uncovered animal bones, marked by human tools, indicating that people may have lived in North America for much longer than previously believed, possibly surviving the severe conditions of the last ice age. Santa Rosa Island, California. Circa 13,000 years ago, human remains found here suggest a group with advanced seafaring capabilities, possibly indicating that they traveled by boat along the coast rather than via land migration. Monteverde, Chile. Circa 14,000 years ago, one of the most famous pre-Clovis sites. Monteverde revealed evidence of a permanent settlement, complete with plant remains, wooden structures, and tools. These findings suggest that early Americans may have migrated southward much earlier than initially thought. Paisley Caves, Oregon, circa 15,000 years ago, fossilized human feces discovered here provided direct evidence of human presence, further challenging the Clovis first model and urging a reevaluation of early migration routes. Hoyo Negro, Yucatan, circa 12,000 years ago in this underwater cave, the remains of a young girl named Naya were found, offering some of the earliest genetic links to modern Native American populations. These discoveries, along with others, have reshaped our understanding of early American migration, suggesting a much more complex and varied history than the Clovis theory alone can explain. The story of how the Americas were first populated is still unfolding, with each new discovery adding more depth to the narrative of human migration and settlement in the New World. Artifacts from a settlement dating back 15,000 years have been uncovered, including tools that bear similarities to Clovis technology but predated by nearly 2,000 years. This discovery further challenges the long-held belief that the Clovis culture represents the earliest Native American civilization. Each of these sites contributes a new layer of complexity to our understanding of early Native American history, demonstrating that humans inhabited the continent long before the Clovis people, and that they were adapting to a variety of climates and ecosystems with remarkable skill and resilience. The rise and fall of early cultures as time progressed. These ancient groups evolved, adapted, and transformed, giving rise to new cultures and communities. Over millennia, these groups would eventually coalesce into the tribes we recognize today. However, it's essential to recognize that these early cultures were not identical to the tribes we know now. Societies are fluid, shifting and merging over time, forming new identities based on environmental challenges, interactions with neighboring groups, and migrations. Therefore, answering the question of which Native American tribe is the oldest is a complex one. The concept of a single, unchanging tribe doesn't align with the dynamic nature of human societies. Even the oldest modern tribes are likely the result of many generations of adaptation, incorporating knowledge, customs, and identities from various ancestral sources. For example, the Hopi are often regarded by many Native Americans as one of the oldest tribes. The Hopi village of Orby, Arizona, is believed to be the oldest continuously inhabited settlement in the United States, dating back nearly 1,000 years. Yet, this impressive longevity only hints at the long journey undertaken by the Hopi people, whose roots likely trace back to the ancient ancestral Puebloans, a group that inhabited the American Southwest long before the formation of modern tribal identities. Language and migration patterns linguistic analysis offers another intriguing lens into the early migrations and interrelationships among tribes. For instance, the Navajo and Apache speak languages from the Nadine family, which is believed to have originated with groups that entered North America around 10,000 years ago. These language families point to a connection with ancient ancestors who migrated southward, eventually settling in the southwestern United States. On the other hand, the Algonquian language family, spoken by tribes spread across a vast expanse of North America from the Atlantic coast to the Great Lakes, hints at shared ancestry among tribes such as the Ojibwe, Chippewa, Potawatomi, and Mi'kmaq. Language, therefore, can act as a living record of migration patterns, offering insights into the relationships between tribes and their movements across the continent. Oral histories and the importance of legends adding further complexity to the study of Native American origins is the rich tradition of oral histories. These stories, passed down through generations, are an essential part of Native American identity. They are vivid, deeply respected, and often carry immense cultural and spiritual meaning. However, they do not always follow a linear, chronological format, making them challenging to interpret through the lens of modern history. For example, the Cherokee have stories of migration involving the crossing of a great river, which some scholars believe may refer to the Mississippi. But such stories are layered with symbolic meanings and spiritual teachings, making them difficult to treat as direct historical records. Despite this, these oral traditions remain integral to the cultural fabric of Native American communities. The Cherokee, for example, regard themselves as a people who have existed since time immemorial, which, while not measurable in scientific terms, speaks to a profound sense of continuity and a deep connection to their ancestral land. Similarly, for the Hopi, their origin stories involve not only migration, but also moral and spiritual lessons, guiding them to live harmoniously with nature and one another. These stories emphasize the cultural and ethical frameworks that have shaped their communities for generations. The challenge of modern archaeology and respect for cultural beliefs. As modern archaeology continues to uncover more artifacts and evidence, our understanding of Native American history becomes increasingly nuanced. However, these scientific advancements also bring ethical considerations. The process of excavation and the interpretation of cultural artifacts must be approached with sensitivity, recognizing that these discoveries often involve sacred sites, ancestral remains, and cultural traditions that hold deep significance to the communities they belong to. The intersection of archaeology and Native American cultural beliefs requires respect and collaboration. As we continue to piece together the past, it's vital to approach the history of Native American peoples with a consciousness of the ongoing connection between modern tribes and their ancient ancestors. Through a combination of scientific exploration and respect for oral traditions, we gain a more complete picture of the rich, diverse history of the first peoples of the Americas. Many Native American tribes view archaeological excavations with a sense of skepticism, often feeling that these efforts disregard their cultural beliefs or disturb sacred sites. As a result, collaboration with Native communities has become increasingly prioritized in the field of archaeology. Researchers now recognize the critical importance of involving these communities in decisions about excavation, interpretation, and the respectful handling of ancestral remains. Some Native Americans also feel that the scientific emphasis on proving ancient dates or tracing migration paths sometimes overshadows the cultural significance of their own oral histories and traditions. For example, the Clovis first theory, long accepted by scholars as the definitive marker of early human presence in the Americas, was rejected by many indigenous groups, who maintained that their ancestors had been on the continent long before 13,000 years ago. Recent discoveries are now validating these indigenous beliefs, challenging long-standing assumptions in the field of archaeology. Evolving questions and the importance of perspective. Ultimately, the question of which Native American tribe is the oldest may not have a definitive answer. Human history is incredibly complex, shaped by countless variables, migrations, and transformations over millennia. Rather than focusing on an elusive oldest tribe, a more meaningful question might be how we can continue to make new discoveries while respecting the heritage and perspectives of the Native American peoples who live today. These communities are the custodians of ancient knowledge, culture, and identity, elements that are no less valuable than archaeological data. Each new discovery reshapes our understanding of the past, but it also underscores the need for a balanced approach. As researchers and Native communities collaborate, there exists a unique opportunity to merge scientific inquiry with cultural respect. This approach can ensure that new findings contribute to a deeper, shared understanding of history without diminishing the rich cultural legacy of America's first inhabitants. By fostering dialogue and mutual respect, archaeology can enrich both our historical knowledge and our recognition of the living traditions that continue to shape Native American communities today. Thank you for watching the video until the end. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new videos from us. What do you think about today's topic? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found the video helpful, feel free to share it with your friends and family. We hope you had a great time. See you in the next video with even more exciting content. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out.